And I know that some of this is hard to talk about in the middle of that championship prep, but when you look at the quarterback situation, how much did CJ and Jack get out of this year, which has not been a normal freshman year? What does that mean for Kyle? How far behind is he compared to those two? And if you get to January and Justin's gone, it's these three, which are basically freshmen. What would be your comfort level with that moving forward into next year?
I mean, anytime you're playing with quarterbacks who haven't played, your comfort level's not real high. I can promise you that. So yeah, it'll be anxious, but you recruit guys for a reason, and you got to develop them, and you got to get them out there, and you got to let them play. Going back to your first point, they haven't played in games. I mean, they've got a couple reps here and there, but they haven't actually played. They've practiced a lot, so I think they're getting a feel for the offense, which is great. But there's nothing like game reps, and as you guys know, you don't really know until you get them in the game. So that's been hard for them. And so maybe, once we get going in the spring, we'll try to figure out how to address that issue. But like you said, right now, we're just focused on this game.
Next up, Stephen Means with cleveland.com.
Hey, Ryan, depending on some decisions by some of your players, you might have a depleted tight end room or the discussions with Sam Hart, understanding that fact, and does he need to come in kind of ready to go from the get-go if that happens?
Yeah. We want everybody to have that same mentality, but like you said, we feel good about the tight end room's depth. We feel like some of these young guys have really grown and gotten better, and Kevin's done a really good job of developing that room. So you're certainly going to miss Luke, and Ruck's got to make a decision, but yeah, Sam's got to come in and make an impact early on. But again, I think that room's done a really good job. You think about Jake Hausman's, done a really good job day in and day out and providing, depth there and giving us really good plays this season. It's been a room of strength, and I think some of these tight ends have seen what our plan is for that position moving forward. So I think some guys are really excited about that, and Sam, decided he was going to jump on pretty early in this process as well, and really excited about him. Another great fit, great family. Looking forward to getting to work with him.
Next up, Zach Carpenter, 11 Warriors.
Hey, Ryan, you have guys like Jack and Trey who they have these kind of massive expectations for their first year, for their freshman year. Do you have to sort of go through a process of maybe resetting their expectations for their first year, or do you not really want them to reset their goals?
Well, I think one thing that you talk about in the process, and you have to do this in recruiting, nobody really wants to talk about this, but it's the truth, is that everybody's journey is different. And the only guarantee is that whatever you think your journey is going to be, it's not going to happen that way. It never does. So you have to be able to adapt and to have the motivation to go get on the field and play right now. I mean, that's what you should have. But to create expectations for yourself to get let down is not. So what do? The goal is to just maximize every day, fight to be the best version every single day of yourself. And eventually, if you have enough talent and you develop enough, you're going to get on the field. It's just going to happen naturally. When? Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of things that come into play there. There's injuries. There's things that get in your way. So we talk to them about that in recruiting. It's not like we come in here and just tell them, hey, you're going to come in and play the first day you walk on campus. Well, that's not going to happen. There's a lot of good players that have gotten recruited and developed in the program before. But they do have an opportunity to come in and make an impact right away and compete for the job. And then for those who can do it, I mean, certainly the blueprint is there. There's been a lot of freshmen who have come in and played right away and go get it. But if it doesn't happen all at once, then you work through that adversity. And one of the things that I think I'm going to share with the team is just, it's almost like what I wish I could record and show them senior tackle. When you hear these seniors talk about all the adversity they've been through in their process and what their expectations were when they walked in the door, it's really significant. And that's the reality. That's not typically what people want to hear in recruiting, but that's the truth. And that's why you want to recruit great character people and a great culture fit, because that's in the end what's going to keep them here, because they picked Ohio State for the right reasons.
Folks, we have time for two more questions. Next up, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, understanding a lot of recruiting's about fit and how things work out on your roster and culture, would it still mean anything to you guys as a program to, on paper, ultimately sign a number one class and get a recruiting crown, which is obviously difficult to come by?
No, No, it doesn't. I'm not really interested in that at all because it's just someone's opinion, and I get it. I respect it all, but in the end, you got to find the right guys for Ohio State, the right fit. And I would say, it's not 100%, but the guys that we bring in, they're the right fit for us. This is the #1 recruiting class for us. I'm sure some people look at that a little bit more. In the end, I just want to make sure we have the right guys for us and that we're winning once they get here in 4 years. To me, that's the true test of a recruiting class is where is it at in 4 years or 3 years from when they signed. And I know, it's fun. It's great to talk about and all that stuff. But in the end, what matters is what they do when they get here. And that's what we stay focused on.
And final questions this afternoon for Coach Day comes from Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row. Spencer?
Ryan, usually in a normal year, Mark and all the people behind the scenes are putting together travel itineraries and trying to get kids to campus and stuff. And then this year was completely different. You had Jack and some of the guys go out of the way to make their own travel plans and get everybody together in Columbus. I know you guys didn't have anything to do with that, but what does it tell you about a guy who not only is a 5-star guy on the field, seems to be able to put a class together off the field, but also coordinates everything to make sure you guys get the best players possible and maximize the challenges the recruiting class faced?
Yeah, it's leadership at a young age. This is a really mature young man and great family. And it wasn't just him, but he was a big part of it. And that's what this thing's come down to is this group's already really, really tight. They're going to come in here knowing so much about each other. And I'm just telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to see really, really special things from this class moving forward.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Have a good practice today.
All right, thanks, guys.